All right, friends, it's T-Man. I'm back with a new video. Again on Jason Blaha, the gym, lifting, recruiting, fitness, gear slave himself. He's made a video for us to react to. So I'm going to react to this video. Jason Blaha says, why intensity techniques don't improve gains most of the time? Okay.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about intensity techniques and why for most people they are simply not worth doing. Now, a lot of people are going to jump up and say, but Jason, this champion bodybuilder did them, that one did it, and they got results from it, so why are you saying most people are not going to get benefits? And I want people to remember here is that what I'm saying is supported by what we know about muscle growth and what we know about muscle.
Man, in order to damage muscles eccentrically, it's based on intensity and duration, which is the same thing. Intensity, duration. Gets tired of talking about this all the time. Intensity, duration, intensity. It's the same thing. You can bring it up, bro. You can bring it up in Google, man. You can even use AI. We'll even explain it to you if you don't understand it. Man.
Fiber recruitment. I've seen even guys like Paul Carter point out that he used to think they might be worth it, but as he's dug even into the research, like he's found that they're pretty much useless. And by useless, meaning for most people, 95% of the time, they won't cause any extra muscle growth, just the T.
Look, man, powerlifting is useless. Drop sets are useless. Cluster sets are useless. Pyramiding your weights are useless. Coming in every day to the gym is useless. None of these things are going to build you any muscle whatsoever. Now, you can eat a lot of protein to try to mass up the myofibrillar, but again, you'll reach this limit, an MND size limit, because you need more nuclei to synthesize more protein. See what I mean? So, like I said, occasionally people do get an adaptation when they do some things in the gym that they're unaccustomed to, because you'll hear them say, well, I've got this DOMS or something, I'm sore for days or something, they can't work out or whatever. They get it, they don't even know what it is, it's accidental. And so they get a deposit of these nuclei and they can synthesize more protein. Like I said, when they talk about concentric exercise being a so-called mass builder, they don't say it's building density. See what I mean? What is mass building? Well, opening a window for protein synthesis, right? Mass building, opening a window for protein synthesis. All exercises are going to do that for sure. Doesn't matter what you do. Your exercise is going to open a window for protein synthesis. Now, how you take advantage of that is your business. But again, well, they will run out. You will run out of these nuclei to synthesize more protein. So what do you need to do? You need to get more of them. Does just lifting concentrically get you more of them? Well, I can't tell you that exactly. I know they're only activated through muscle damage. See what I mean? They're activated. They need to fuse. They need to do a bunch of stuff. They need to fuse to the fiber. How are they fusing to that fiber? I can't tell you, bro. There's a lot of things I can produce science and show stuff, but can't tell you myself because I don't know exactly how everything works. Nobody does. No human does on this planet. No fitness person, influencer, nobody. It's something that you are discovering through your experiences. You are not born with knowledge. You are born with skills to survive. You're not born with any knowledge. So where do you get your knowledge from? Where do you get your knowledge from? Well, a lot of your knowledge is coming from other people, their experiences. They write him in this thing. It's called books. And then you read them. See what I mean? But I'm not interested in other people's experiences. I'm interested in creating my own experiences and learning from myself. And I suggest all of you do the same. Get it? That's how you're going to figure out things a lot better and quicker.
Injuries. Notice I said 95% of the time. Okay? So we need to be clear so that we
He's wrong. He's wrong. Absolutely wrong. There's 3 stages in bodybuilding, eccentric exercise. You're either overworking that muscle because that concentric has adapted. So you need to unadapt it by overworking it by multiple sets. Or less sets, eccentric overload without the concentric. And then there's just concentric, trying to get over some plateaus or something people are doing. Just doing eccentric lifts. So you have overworking, you have eccentric overload, overworking eccentrically, you have overload eccentrically, and you have just eccentrically. There you go. So there's three stages, just like in concentric lifting. They've got the three stages too. You know what I mean? Somewhat.
Understand why some champion bodybuilders got to benefit from them. So that's what we need to understand.
But we need to understand there is no growth lifting against gravity concentrically. All growth happens when you go with gravity down eccentrically.
Actually not discounting the fact that someone like Dorian Yates might have got something out of them, okay? Because there is that little 5%. All right. And that 5% usually involves when you've completely changed your hormonal environment relative to your muscle mass. Ooh, and to what you've previously been doing. In other words, when you add a new drug to the mix. That is when they might actually do something.
There you go. See, with Blaha, everything is about drugs because he can't make it, and he thinks none of you can too. So he just blabs about a bunch of fake stuff, and then here comes the drugs.
Or if you're fairly new to training but still have good form. All right, so let me explain why that is, because this is going to throw people off. All right, generally speaking, as we get close to muscle failure, okay, as we get close to muscle failure, we go up through like, I forgot what it's called, Hierman's principle, right, where we have rate coding with the muscle fibers, where we start with the slowest twitch fibers, and on demand, we will start recruiting the faster and faster twitch fibers. There's about approximately 20 different muscle fiber types we've identified as various intermediate fiber types, okay? So as you get closer to failure or you get closer to your 1 rep max, we start to recruit those highest threshold muscle fibers, okay? Make sense? Like for anything 90% or higher of your max, so let's say your max is 300 pounds, right? Right around 270, 275-ish, maybe even 260, you're gonna hit those fastest twitch muscle fibers. You're gonna reach them on that first rep, okay? Failing stuff like that, though, you've got to start getting within, a number of reps of failure to start hitting them, okay? And we do that because the endurance fibers get fatigued super fast when put under heavy tension, okay? They don't get fatigued.
Endurance fibers. That's all he's doing here is performing in endurance. I told you people, man. Vla is really funny, man. Well, his videos are funny watching him. Really, what a slave.
Walking. They get fatigued under weight.
He does this same exercise with the same weight over and over and over again. What do you think the outcome is? What do you think the outcome is? Adzido.
They get fatigued under weight pretty quick. Like they're just not able.
Yeah, I'd get fatigued too if I kept doing the same exercises day in and day out. What's the point of going there to a gym?
To keep up with the force production. So every rep, like let's say.
I love this. You got to keep up with the force production. What happens if you grow more myofibrillars? Well, then you don't have to keep up with the force production, do you? Because now you have something to push against force. You don't have to keep practicing being a lifting slave, gym slave.
We're doing a 10 rep set. Every single rep you do, you're getting more and more faster and faster twitch intermediate fibers.
No, you're not getting more of them. Maybe you're activating some of them. But I'll tell you right now, you're going to activate more fibers eccentrically because you can take on heavier loads going down than you could going up. I'm not joking, especially on this so-called, what you call accessory work.
On every rep that you do, like you're accumulating fatigue from rep 1 with a weight you can only do 10 or 12 reps with, all right? See where we're going with this? So when you reach failure, though, the fastest twitch fibers are no longer working. So if you have to do a rep.
When you reach failure, they're no longer working. The fast twitch muscle fibers, they fatigued, yeah.
Pause. So stop and think. You were able, let's say you do a 10 rep set, you were able to move the first 5 reps of that weight.
That's like soldiers when they can't stab anymore with their sword. They can't stab anybody anymore with their sword. If their arms at any point stop and they're unable to stab, then they'll get stabbed, and that's why they die in these battles. So you have these medieval battles before in Europe, Middle East or wherever in the world, they had these swords, and they started, when the people started fighting with swords, and so they would practice trying to do as many stabbing motions as they could. See what I mean? That is endurance and intensity. You're going to get some damage there and repair, remodeling, and a bunch of stuff. And then there's also endurance there involved. So the amount of stabbing motions that you can accomplish in one session is what's going to help you defeat your enemy. You're wanting your enemy to be, how should I put it, weakened at that point. He'll get weak because he would have gone well beyond the point where the muscles get damaged and you lose this force production. Here's the thing. In the stabbing motions, if you lose force production stabbing, you can no longer stab anybody. You'll get stabbed and you'll die. So that's what happens. And that's why the majority of people, the people that lose in those battles were the people that could no longer stab anymore. They may have tried to change arms, move from the right arm to the left arm. Had they practiced enough with the left arm, then yeah, maybe they could carry through. But if they both of them stop working, you're gone. You're a goner. And the other guy, he can keep going. You're dead. You can't move your arms anymore. How can you protect yourself?
So let's say it's 200 pounds, right? You were able to do the first 5 reps without the fast twitch fibers. They didn't kick in until about rep 6. Once they get too fatigued, once all those fibers are fatigued, you've hit failure. The muscle won't lift the weight anymore. But if you strip some weight off...
Do you experience waking up at night to go pee? It's a common...
The muscle won't lift the weight anymore. But if you strip...
Yeah. It won't lift. See, here's the thing. If you fatigued, it won't lift the weight anymore. If you get damaged, it won't lift the weight anymore either. Eventually, so many damages in there, it'll be very difficult to lift it. And so you in a medieval time would never survive. You die.
Some weight off, or someone helps you do forced reps, or you do partials, or you rest 4 or 5 seconds for rest pause, you can do another rep. But it's not the fast twitch fibers. They're not recovered. Once they're fatigued, a lot of times those fast twitch fibers need one.
Yeah, he speaks like from a lifting slaves training. He's a performing endurance lifting slave, bro. That's what he's telling you right here.
1 minute, 2 minutes. In some cases, they might need up to 5 minutes before they'll recruit again. Not saying they're going to need 5 minutes all the time. That's very situationally dependent. That's usually when you're dealing with very, very heavy weights, like nearly 1 rep maximum weights, or you get into that 90% plus range. Yeah, dude, they need 5 minutes. All right, see where we're going with this? So we're back to more intermediate fibers doing all the work. So when you're using intensity techniques, you're not hitting those fastest twitch fibers anymore. They're not being used. You're back to the intermediate.
Yeah, you are. You are hitting them with intensity. What's he talking about? If your exercise is intense, you're really hitting. Intensity means that you're using a weight that is it's controlled, but it's heavy. That's the intensity part. There's a lot of intensity going on there because the weight is very heavy. So the duration part, the intensity duration, meaning sets and reps and whatever you're doing there, I don't know. Could be full upper body, so that's the duration and intensity and duration, whatever.
Fibers. Now, when people say, okay, but don't those intermediate fibers grow? No, not really. Not once you're done being a...
Grow? You mean like mass up? Like with proteins? That kind of growth? I don't know what kind of growth he's talking about. Are you talking about myofibular growth or just massing up the original myofibulars that you have that you're carrying there? Which one is it? You see, here's a question. Ask yourself this question. Do you think that mass is going to make you stronger, or if you gain more myofibulars, which one will make you stronger? Building myofibulars, or building up these proteins, massing up the myofibulars? Which one do you think will give you the most strength? Ponder that thought for a moment.
Novice. So if you're a novice lifter, every year that you train, fewer and fewer your intermediate fibers will grow anymore.
Here's the thing. If you build myofibular growth, do you think it just goes away? These myofibulars? Which one do you think goes away faster? If you build myofibulars, do you think they go away fast, like building up these proteins on massing up the myofibulars, your myofibulars? Which one do you think goes faster, the mass or the myofibular growth that you built new myofibulars? Which one do you think goes? Huh?
So your slowest twitch fibers, they reach max size really, really fast. They can reach their maximum muscle mass within a week or two of exercise. Like, they're done. Just walking alone will maximize most of them. Just walking. So
I have no clue what he's talking about.
you go up the chain, you get into more and more fast twitch becomes the only muscle growth that you have. The intermediate.
It is the only muscle growth. In eccentric exercise, it's only type 2 muscle fibers you're hitting. I'm not saying you're not getting some type 1. Definitely there's some type 1. There's shit going on there too. But it's the majority of it is type 2.
It grow less and less and less and less, and when you're an advanced lifter, they probably don't grow at all. Or
No, they don't grow less and less and less and less. It depends what kind of growth you're growing here. Is it sarcoplasmic? Are you massing up the myofibrillars? Are you doing I don't know, myofibrillar growth? Like, what are you doing here exactly? What type of growth are you targeting? See what I mean? Myofibrillar, mass. The mass could be the same thing as sarcoplasmic. That's mass. You're massing up you're massing up through the sarcoplasm, your muscles. That mass is fake. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't really do anything. It doesn't make you strong. The myofibrillar growth, that'll make you strong. Are you getting myofibrillar growth? Are you damaging it week after week, going through this pain threshold, 4 days of like DOMs and all that, pain threshold? Are you going through the repair and remodeling? Are you doing that? No, none of you are. Nobody is in the gym, bro. They're just working out, and they split it up and they work out how they feel. They go in there in the day and then they go, oh, we're doing arm day today. Oh, let's do a back day today. They talk to their friends, whatever. Their workouts are frivolous. They're just nothing. They're nothing. There's no goal in mind. There's nothing. I'm working out. Okay, work out. They come in like Blaha every day, working out in this garage here, making a video every single day, doing the exact same reps, exact same scheme, exact same everything. Just like a factory worker making $10 an hour thinking he's going to get rich. He's never going to get rich making $10 an hour working in the factory, bro. Get it?
a few of them can grow a very small amount. At that point, almost all of your muscle is coming from your fastest twitch fibers. So any rep that doesn't.
Most all of it's coming from there. That's what you're targeting. What I don't know what he's talking about.
Recruit the faster twitch fibers probably is not causing any muscle growth. None, nothing. Doesn't matter that we're creating fatigue.
Okay, so how do they grow? How do muscles grow exactly? How do you grow them and how do they grow?
In the other fibers, they may not be growing any. So if you're in a given hormonal environment, they're probably not growing. So if you're an intermediate to
hormonal environment, what about nuclei environment? What if they're lacking in that? Will they grow? What if you're not damaging? Will they grow? What if you don't have any myonuclei? Will they grow? Will they grow? What if you're not eating enough carbohydrates so you can expand them artificially through the sarcoplasm? Will they grow? Will they grow? Not enough glycogen. Will they grow? No. See what I mean? No nuclei. Will they grow? No. You get any damage in the myofibers? No. There's no growth going on. This is not being activated. Bro, this is just blunted. Everything here he's doing, his muscles are blunted. There's nothing. He's using these exercises. He says he's building muscle, but in fact, he's using them. He's using this to burn fat. Why do you need to lift weights to burn fat? He's like, well, I'm on a low caloric diet. Well, if you're on a low caloric diet, that makes no sense either because you're starving yourself. You should be on a high nutrient diet. If you're high nutrient diet, there's not like calories there you're dealing with. See what I mean? You're just eating nutrients. You're eating natural food, which will do what? Reduce the body fat. See what I mean?
advanced drug-free lifter, those intensity techniques aren't doing anything. Now, people say, well, what about steroids? Well, drugs do the same thing, okay? So when you're doing a lot of these intensity techniques, when you get over to the drugs, for a while they'll grow because guess what? Every time you...
When you're doing these intensity techniques and you're going over to the drugs, they'll grow. See, they weren't growing when you were doing it naturally. What makes you think that drugs have magic power is going to make them grow? See what I mean? And then when you go off the drugs, how come they go away? Where does it go? Blah, where does it go?
Add new stuff, you reintroduce a little bit of a honeymoon phase. So every time you up the dose, every time you add a new substance.
Just remember this. Yeah, it's all fun and games. You can take steroids just like any other drug. Do drugs. Drugs will diminish you over time, whether it's marijuana, cocaine, whatever people are doing out there. I don't know, alcohol. It's all poison. It's all poison. You know what I mean? And they do their thing. The steroids over time are going to deteriorate you over time. It's a slow progression, but over time it will deteriorate you.
Any of that to what you were doing, we almost experience noob gains again, right? It's like noob gains. It's like magic, okay? Because that
See, guys, it's like noob gains all over again. It's like magic. Did you think Blaha ever got his noob gains? Where's his noob gains? Noob gains.
means more of the intermediate fibers are growing, not
You know, man, this is so funny, my noob gains. Remember what I told you before? What's a unique feature of eccentric exercise is that untrained subjects become stiff and sore next day due to what? Muscle damage. What's a unique feature of concentric? They don't get damaged. So untrained, first training, satellite cell fusion, hypertrophy. Get it? Newbie gains. Yeah. The satellite cell can only donate so much to those busted fibers, and then they stop donating. You reaches an MND size limit. During that process, listen, it reaches an MND size limit during that hypertrophic process. When you get this damage, it can only donate so many nuclei. So I can't tell you how many nuclei are you going to get in that session and how many myofibrils have you grown in that session. See what I mean? So now that you get that, you call that newbie gains. Because why? Because you've adapted to the eccentric exercise. Why? Because it built some muscle to protect from any more damage. So every time you do a heavy weight in the up force, the down force is always going to be lighter, 2 times lighter. You just don't realize that. You can't visually see that because you're not thinking about it.
just the upper threshold fibers. That's why every year.
And you're not doing multiple sets to even get that light eccentric work to even get a scintilla of damage out of it. You're calculating your sets and your reps. You know, you come in, you say, I'm doing a workout day, 5 sets of 10 reps, and then I'm gone, I'm going home. That's it? No, man. That's why I say full body. At least if you do full body, it'll get overworked and it'll get damaged again. But it won't get damaged with your shitty sets. You need at least, no, never mind 5. You need 25, 30 because that eccentric is too late.
We train, we make less and less gains. Okay? See where we're going? So if you're natural.
No. If you keep training concentrically without enough eccentric, then you're not going to get any gains. And if you don't overwork it with that light eccentric work that you're doing full ROM, then you're not going to get any gains at all. Absolutely zero.
If you're completely drug free, it's doing nothing.
If you're completely drug free, it's doing nothing. Well, there you go. He's trying to convince you cannot build muscles. There you go. Blaha has now come out with it. You cannot build muscles doing any of these exercises without drugs. You need drugs because only drugs can build muscles. There you go.
If you stay on the same amount of stuff, so if you're an enhanced lifter and you don't use massive amounts, like you use whatever, you use a moderate amount.
I love this one. If you're an enhanced lifter, yeah, does enhance sound like muscle building? No, enhance means to enhance your performance. Now, how do you enhance your performance in the natural world? By gaining what? More sarcomere numbers and muscle fibers. When you gain more myofibrils, you enhance your performance. Get it, man? But if you try to mass up your myofibrils, that doesn't really enhance your performance. Understand me? That is not going to enhance your performance. What's going to enhance it is getting more of these myofibrils. Now, how do you get them? Through muscle damage. And if you're not willing to damage it doing eccentric exercise, then don't do it. And don't complain about it.
Let's say testosterone or something, and that's all you ever use, you'll reach that point within a year.
Testosterone will help you with force production to lift much heavier. So if you know how to use it, you can cause more damage to the myofibrillar eccentrically if you know how to use steroids. You understand me? You don't need a lot of it. You only need a little bit of it for more force to gain more force production. In other words, to gain more force production, that would be a lot easier than you trying to do it yourself. You can lift even heavier, exponentially heavier. But I'd be very careful because doing eccentric overload, just like I told you before, overworking, that's totally different. But the overload part, wow. That, if you're doing a lot of multiple sets overloading like crazy, you got to be careful with that. That could be dangerous. There is something called rhabdo out there. I mean, I'm not saying you're going to get that, you're going to drop off. Definitely not. But if you're taking steroids and now you're lifting exponentially heavier and you're doing these eccentric exercises and you get this damage, then you're going to get rhabdo for sure because you've gone well beyond your natural levels that could have done that. We're moving in real time. We're getting bigger, we're getting stronger. Those weights are feeling lighter, so we lift heavier, and then we get bigger, and then we get stronger. See what I mean? But if you take something artificial to lift even heavier and you do too much, you may get rhabdo.
Where only the fast twitch muscle fibers are growing again. And they're still growing. The stuff is making them grow. But the other fibers got as big as they're going to get off of the stuff you're
See, the drugs are making them grow magically, bro.
taking, and they'll stop growing. And if you come off that stuff, they may start shrinking a little bit, okay?
And then if you come off that stuff, you may be shrinking a little bit. No, you're going to shrink. All of it's going to shrink and go away because that mass is fake. It's stimulated artificially by the hormone. That's what it's doing. That mass, you misconstrue what that mass is too. It's the sarcoplasm, it's some proteins, sarcoplasm, this glycogen, a bunch of stuff.
So we're back over to just the faster twitch fibers making gains. So if
Why? Because you guys are still doing concentric exercises and you are performing endurance slaves. And so, man, steroids are wasting drugs. They are performing drugs, but they're wasting drugs. They use them for people that are wasting away. But you're not wasting away. You're overeating now. You're injecting it and overeating, so you're not wasting. You're accumulating. That's the difference.
the intensity techniques are not hitting those, even the substances people are taking, the PEDs, are not going to cause you to grow from it anymore. But when you
The PEDs are not going to cause you to grow from it anymore. No, the PEDs have long adapted because your body's trying to stop the hormones. You understand? Trying to stop this process because it's unnatural. Your body's only there to keep you alive, and it sees this as something dangerous that could kill you.
talk about a serious pro bodybuilder, how oftentimes does a serious pro bodybuilder, when he say he's doing his contest prep or whatever, add more stuff? Well, pretty much all the time. 99%.
Think about it. Why do alcoholics have to drink more and more and more and more and more alcohol? Because it stops working. Why does it stop working? Because your body adapted to it, doesn't work anymore. How does it adapt to it? Protecting it. Okay. How does your body adapt to building muscle? By building some muscle and then protecting against building any more muscle. See what I mean? And getting damaged. Alcohol damages you, so it protects itself from this alcohol damage, your body. It shuts off these key pathways. Your marijuana doesn't work anymore. You just try smoking more and more and more, but the effects are not working. Why? Because your body has stopped the damaging effects. Okay. These steroids, the same thing. All of it's damaging you, and your body is preventing that. You understand me? It's stopping it. And then what do? You smoke more of it. You drink more of it. You inject higher doses of it like idiots.
Of the time. So you see where we're going? Well, so sure he benefited from it. Doesn't mean you will. And so it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It doesn't mean that Dorian Yates was doing the incorrect thing. He clearly wasn't.
Dorian Yates is a fake bodybuilder. He did it for money on a stage. That's not real bodybuilding. He's not a sports person. That's just dumb stuff to... Why would you just lift weights just to get good at lifting a weight, or to go on a stage and look like, I don't know, to perform in front of people is really weird, but whatever.
Clearly worked, but you also need to put it in that perspective. All right, guys, but that's really...
Like Blaha, he just is a lifting slave. He's a factory worker. This is like punishment. This is like worse than punishment. Can you imagine if you have people, you put these people in prisons and you tell them, we're going to make you lift these weights every day, day in and day out now. You have to get up early, 6 a.m. to lift these weights every single day. You think these people in prisons, they want to lift these weights, bro? They rather sleep all day, hang out, play cards, hang out with their friends and do stuff. They don't want to lift any weights. But Blaha, he's kind of the opposite. He just loves this because the more he looks in the mirror, the more his head is a pumpkin head. Look at his head, it's a pumpkin head, bald, pumpkin head. His body is just, it looks weird. It looks mutated. It just looks worse and worse every time. He's getting older and older. He likes this accelerated aging. He's addicted to it. I guess some people are addicted to destroying themselves. They don't want to look attractive to other people. But oh well, each to their own.
all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative. I'll talk
That squat was concentric. That's not eccentric.
to you guys and gals next time.
That's why he's not gaining anything. He's wasting his time, even his crappy TRT stuff or steroids.